I asked for some indie slash self pub horror recommendations over on X and Threads a little while ago, and oh boy, did you deliver. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is going to be a mass outpouring of indie slash self pub horror that we have available to us that I didn't even know about. So a little while ago, I put up a post on my Threads and my Twitter looking for some self pub horror for spooky season to come up, and there was an overwhelming response. There are so many books, and just to preface this, I have got I don't know, like 30 tabs, 30 to 35 tabs open right now to showcase some of the books that were recommended to me, but I don't even have all of them in here. We don't have the time. So there is a mass amount of indie slash self-pub horror books out there just waiting for us. And I'm going to put a bunch of these on my October TBR. So it is nearly spooky season, so buckle up. We're going to have a look at some indie horror that you can go ahead and pick up if you so choose. Without any further stalling from me, these are in no particular order. I've just got two screens full of these books, and we're going to showcase them today. Starting off with A Hot Dose of Hell by Steve Stark. This was one of the many recommendations by author Molly McCabe, and we'll get to her book in a little bit as well. And a lot of people trust Molly's horror recommendations, writing in that horror sphere herself. We've got some needles in eyeballs in a skull and fire happening, so that seems interesting. It says a deadly new drug has hit the streets of Scarmouth, one which turns users into bloodthirsty, covering the screen, maniacs with superhuman tolerance for pain. Maybe I'll read the first sentence of the blurb and just see if that grabs anyone's attention. Maybe. That's a better way to do it. So that is A Hot Dose of Hell by Steve Stark. Already off to a horrifying start. Also recommended by Molly was The Clatterman. This is by Janelle Sheik. I'm really hoping I butchered that pronunciation. Butchered horror. Ignore me. Apologies. It's the summer before senior year of college in the early 90s, and Abby's boyfriend has just booked a weekend away with friends at a rustic lakeside cabin. Located in northern Pennsylvania, the dwelling is tucked away and boasts a breathtaking view. That's how it all starts, right? You go to a nice place, like this is really beautiful, and then sinister shit starts happening, particularly if you're in a wood or rustic lakeside cabin. I can speak. There are so many of these to go. Next up on the indie horror list, we have The Veil. This is by Emin H. Bradley. Looks like this. All the covers will be up here. They would have you believe, the police and mainstream media, that I, Charlie Mescal, and my friends were the deadliest killers since Manson or Bundy. That's only half true. Yes, we've killed, but to put us in the same category as those two I just mentioned is wrong, a fallacy. For starters, they've had to be human for us to be considered murderers, right? Interesting. I went a little bit more than the first line. I'm trying to give like enough to get the hook here. We also have The Haunting of Shayla Lee. This is by Uliman Whitedale. I'm so sorry. Uliman Whitedale. Pronunciation, I apologize. There's once manifested, guilt must be addressed. Shayla Ann Lee, a narcissist, neurotic seeker of affluence, creates her own manifestation of trauma and leaves it forlorn, driving it to seek its retribution against her as she seeks to overcome her own past, a past littered with those she destroyed. Ooh, that does sound creepy. Next up, we have Fear by Jose Francisco Trevino Chavez. I apologize about the pronunciation again. Fear, arguably humans' strongest emotion, is both a blessing and a curse. Interesting. We also have No, I said that wrong. We also have Beneath the Salton Sea by Michael Paul Gonzalez. It says, every memory is a recording. Ooh, interesting. Should I read one more sentence? Let's read one more sentence. Nothing about the Salton Sea is normal. The sand isn't sand, just piles and piles of desiccated bones. There are little pockets where life clings on. Birds, reptiles, people. It's an ecosystem of things that rely on other living things too stubborn to leave. Okay. I do like a seaside horror, like those vibes, because the beach is it can be so beautiful, but also super creepy. So, I don't know, maybe that's your thing. Next up, we have Vindecker by Sophie Kensington, and this says, a gothic tale of science, obsession, and redemption. In the shadow of Victor Frankenstein's infamous experiments, another mind toils just down the road. one less celebrated, but no less consumed. Interesting. Got some Frankenstein stuff coming out later this year. Cool. Next up, we have one that I'm quite interested in. This is Soma Stuga. Oh, can't pronounce it. Looks like this. This is by Emma Wilson Kanamori, and says blood poured from Esme's neck during a vacation at the quaint little cabin in the woods. Esme's new girlfriend Hannah witnessed Esme's younger sister slash her throat for reasons only a sister holding onto a secret might understand. But why was Alice even on this trip? It's a miracle then that before shock can wilt into grief, Esme is found to be alive. That sounds pretty creepy. That's a nice short blurb. We can get all of it in there. Next up, we have The Novice Ghost Hunter. This is the first Malachi Hunter story. It's a series of these by Martin J. Best. The first one looks like this. It says, Malachi Hunter believes in ghosts. In fact, he's obsessed with the supernatural, and it made him a socially isolated loner. Then a chance encounter with a girl who remembers his dubious reputation from school and who needs his help leads him to investigate a haunted house. Although things don't exactly go according to plan, Mal's still determined to become a paranormal investigator. Got a few urban fantasies in here. Now we have the woman herself, Molly McCarb, with Dark Bloom. I am looking at putting this one on my TBR. I won't tell you all the ones I'm putting on my TBR, but this has been on my radar for a little while now. It says, when a disease runs rampant, turning people into cannibalistic horrors, society comes to a halt. Kate manages to escape the sadistic captivity she has endured and collides with Nick, a Marine haunted by the scars of war. Interesting. I think this is a take on zombies. Cool. We then have a series recommendation. This is I'll try that again. This is the Nightmare Land Chronicles by David Barnett, another author that I've been meaning to get to for quite some time. And these are novellas. So the first one is called Nightmare Land Volume 1. It says Season 1 complete. Tomorrow died on the last morning of May. There were those who saw it happen, who watched the shadow fall, who felt the chop of the guillotine as the world lost its head. Interesting. Then we have The Summoning by Brady Longmore. And it says, The Summoning is a small-town horror setting that instantly brings a mind to Stephen King novel, but the author makes it his own. That is a review from a customer that's been put at the top there. It looks like there's a bunch of reviews in the top of this blurb, but it looks like this, and I'm getting like folk horror vibes. Is that a church in the background? Could be interesting. Then we have The Place Beneath the Dirt by Robert King II. It says, veteran homicide detective Sam Harris thought he had seen everything until a brutal massacre at the gas station shakes him to his core. I really should just move this camera, but I'm stubborn. Looks like this. There's a lot of red happening there. Very creepy. Next up we have The Flesh of the Sea. This is part of the Dark Sails series by Laura Gislason and Shelley Levine. This is a cool cover. You know I like purple. I am very much enjoying this cover here. It says, June 25th, 1760, Jean Baptiste. Before I begin, I want to assure you that I'm fine. In fact, you could say I'm in quite good spirits, considering recent events. Oh, great intrigue on that first line of the blurb there. We also have Horrify by David Fisher. Now, I believe this is a collection of transcripts, so it's done like a true crime podcast, and don't know what that noise was from my throat was, apologies. It says, Horrified David Fisher is a transcript from the final episode of a true crime podcast, Rural Homicide with John and Olivia. What appeared to be an open and shut case of a murderous, disturbed teen soon takes on new light as the podcast host digs deeper. They soon realize that some mysteries should be left unsolved. I do love like a transcript horror. That does sound up my alley. Next up, we have Beyond the Shack by G.B. Cook. When Callie goes missing in Alaska, Sarah is the only one who cares. She tries to convince law enforcement that something is seriously wrong, but the local cops couldn't care less. We're getting that getting urban vibes here as well. The cover looks like this. Next up, we have Local Gods by Mark Hurst. I believe this is folk horror, if I'm remembering that correctly from the recommendation. It says, we'll call him Pete Collins. It's the name he's using for now, and it's as good as any. Pete's in the killing business. For the right price, he's your man, the one who'll satisfy a grievance, punish a wrongdoer, deliver vengeance, or spite with maximum prejudice. Make your problems disappear. Creepy. Next up, we have Toadhead. This is a short horror story, and it says, it's always hungry. Teddy Duchette is a quiet man. The residents of Fairview know him well, but he keeps to himself. On the 1-year anniversary of his mother's death, Teddy wakes up outside the local cemetery, filthy, confused, but not alone. The toad sits imperious on his head. It refuses to be removed and demands to be fed. Interesting. Next up, we have a collection of short stories. This is Managing and Other Lies, a queer horror collection by Willow Heath, who you might know as Willow Talks Books. I believe that's her channel here on BookTube, and it looks like this. There's an unsettling collection of queer horror stories that take readers on a dark journey down desolate country roads, to the vacant halls of Gothic homes, and into the dark heart of modern-day Britain. These are Kafka-esque tales of loneliness, brutality, and paranoia. I believe one of her favorite authors is Kafka, so that tracks there. Now I'll need to find the next tabs. Next up, we have A Dark Most Fair by L.M. Rivia. I apologize. You should know I did it, but before you trouble yourself to read any further, you won't find an innocent woman in these pages. I'm every bit as evil as they say I am. A murderer, a liar, a kinslayer. Ooh, that's a good hook as well. Next up, we will have one that I actually own. This is Domestication by Shannon Knight. It says, in an eat or be eaten world, domestication is a death sentence. Again, another great hook on that book. It looks like this. I love the cover here. I need to know what's going on, and I'm hoping maybe I can get to this one sometime soon because I own it. Next up, we have one that people are talking about. They talked about it since it was released because it is a popular BookTube channel here on the platform. This is Discovery Strange Eons, book number 1 by J.A.J. Minton. And this is a husband, wife, and son collaboration, which I think is super cool. Looks like this, and this is a cosmic horror entry. In 1992, at the dawn of the age of technology, disgraced ex-game show host Manny DiMartini schemes for a comeback with a deep-sea television special in the South Pacific. He quickly finds himself in over his head, attracting the attention of a cosmic being who will lead Manny to a television broadcast event much bigger than the entire planet bargained for. The intrigue there is very good. I will get to this one at some point in my lifetime. Next up, we have Disgraced Return of the Cap's Needle. I love this cover. It just gives me sci-fi horror vibes, and I'm down. I'm here for it. It says, in 2144 AD, 2144 AD, that's how you say that, the generation ship Cap's Needle left Earth to settle a new world. It all went wrong. Now, 2 years into a desperate return trip, the ship's biospheres are collapsing and oxygen is nearly depleted. Hell yeah. Next up, we have one I have read, one of the only ones that I actually have read on this list. That is Icebreaker by Stephen William Hanna. I have not shut up about this book. I freaking love it. This is cosmic horror. It is just full of anxiety-filled tension, and is so good. This is the sort of thing I would love to see adapted from an indie book. It is fantastic. I have book 2 ready to go. I've recently finally bought myself the trilogy. If I ask to be let out without knocking, assume that I am dead. Anything except me knocking 7 times. You are to go and get the forestry and tell them to burn this place to the ground. Do I need to say anything else? Just fantastic. Sorry, now we have Scurry, a horror novel about serial killers and roaches. Caddy Hammond isn't like other girls. She can talk to roaches. It's not a gift she ever wanted or asked for, but ever since she was a child, it marked her as different. Interesting. Good intrigue there as well. This one I do have on my Kindle, but I have not yet read. Next up, we have 80s Ghosts by V.S. Lawrence, and there was a BookBub deal for this one not all that long ago. The year is 2009, and Chrissy Rodriguez is determined to make her ghost hunting vlog an internet success. She's only one more failed investigation away from financial ruin and having to move back home, when she receives an email asking her to investigate Merlin High, a school that burned down in the 80s. She's presented with a unique opportunity that could make or break her. Cool cover here as well. There are some like nostalgic covers here where we've got almost like a VHS tape look to it, and you've got like the camcorder on the cover here. Cool job for the cover artist on this one. Next up, we have another beautiful cover, which is also like creepy, like fungal horror. Just creepy. A Slightly Stranger Point of View by Hannah Burse. It says, do not disturb the foliage. I believe this is a short story collection bordering on horror and paranormal here. So follow the vines through a forest of old wars, revenge, and lost love. Creep past the grounds of an asylum that once housed lycanthropes, and tread softly through potato fields. I wouldn't eat any if I were you. Okay, that sounds cool. Next up, we have Mad Days, Stories and Curses by Alfred Alley. Welcome to Mad Days, a vanishing town, a cursed cemetery, a treasure hunt on Earth's last day. Mad Days features 38 brand new stories, including 19 drabbles and 3 terrifying novelettes. Alley's latest collection takes you on a tour of rural wastelands through Texas and Oklahoma. There are ghosts here, there are monsters too, all manner of heinous things hiding in the dead hearts and rotten soil. A lot of short story like horror collections. I think horror does lend itself quite well to a short story and an exploration of particular themes without like making you sit there for 500 pages and be uncomfortable. Next up, we have the Swanson Fly Project. This is by Luke Geldmaker. Hopefully I pronounced it correctly. Apologies if I did not. It says, Dunley, West Virginia, a small town teetering on the edge of economic collapse. Its community bound together by a once thriving mill that now feels more like a warden than a benefactor. When a drifter arrives carrying a mysterious parasite, the line between humanity and horror shatters. With a single bite, violence and death erupt, turning the infected into breeding grounds of terror. Bugs. I don't know. Now, this is another cover which I didn't like fully look at until I put it big on the screen, and it's so cool. This is Monster Book 1, The Cryptid Chronicles by Henry Scott, and it looks like this. I'm pretty intrigued. Nick Hayes retreats to the forest to hide from his demons, but a bigger monster waits for him in the woods. If it's this thing, I don't want to go in the woods, because that looks terrifying. Next up, we have From the Dark Observatory, a horror fiction collection. So we've got another collection here. It says, The bleakest terrors can only be seen on starless nights from the Dark Observatory. Oh, another one that is a good intrigue. And this is by Liesl Jones. Next up, we have They Wait in the Woods by S.M. Savant, which is the Bonnie Parker series book number 1. So there's a 4-book series, or at least 4 books so far. It says, The woods are lovely, dark and deep. 4 university buddies go out to the Lewis family's cabin near Tahoe for a few days of outdoor sports and hard partying. The stay has a horrible end, however, when 3 of the young men are found brutally murdered, while the last one of the party has gone missing, presumed to be responsible for the killings. So it looks like we've got a thriller, like a suspense thriller, with horror vibes in there. Next up, we have 10 More Years by Chloe Kuntz, and this one already comes with a trigger warning on the front here, which we can see, parental, explicit content advisory. Well, not so much trigger warning, just a warning for age ranges going into this book. 2010, a young woman steps away from a bridge, choosing to live. 2011, the young woman is informed that a creature has been tasked with convincing her that she made the wrong choice. Oh, that's going to get dark and creepy, playing with some ideation, so just be careful going into that one. Next up, we have another banger cover, Glow Rot, No Way Out of Wonderland, and this is by Beatrice Lebrun. Lebrun? Apologies. What if Wonderland was a parasite that fed on your desires? I don't need to read anything more than that. Like, I'm already in. That sounds amazing. Now, this one is, I believe, queer heavy. So, you know I'm in for that one. Then we have Ageless by John Lewis, and this is a cool cover as well. We've got like some arty, 80s arty vibes here. It says, Lauren Cortez, the only survivor of a horrific attack that wiped out a small village, and her entire squad while on patrol in Afghanistan. Even with treatment, Lauren's PTSD episodes were getting worse, as she relives the horror of watching her men being slaughtered by savage mountain men with glowing eyes and razor-sharp teeth. That is an image. Next up, we have Remnants. This is by John D. Benson. It says, The world has ended, yet Gia remains. Among visitors of the dead who do not know they are gone, a rising order that seeks to claim her, she struggles to survive in a world where nothing obeys the rules it once did. Haunted, hunted, and uncertain whether she is a savior or destroyer, Gia must face the truth that the fate of the earth rests within her. I personally love post-apocalyptic horror, and I love dystopian stories, so intrigued. Next up, we have The Fold by C.W. Evans. This says, The cold hit us first, followed by the darkness. Then came the suffering, the unimaginable, relentless suffering. It all started with a missing boy and a mysterious house that disappeared on Halloween night 30 years later. That sounds that sounds horrific for the people in this book. We then have The Montgomery Estate by Samantha Ice, and this is a YA horror entry. This is high school freshman Claire is obsessed with the Montgomery Estate and the vicious torturing and killings of a prestigious family that happened within its walls nearly 100 years ago. When the last surviving member of the Montgomery family passes away, Claire decides to explore the house and uncover the truth behind a decades-old mystery. We have a haunted house YA tale there. Next up, we have Run Like Hell. This is by E.A. Brand, and it was edited by Willow over at Willow Talks Books, which is cool. Now, this is, I've been told, starts as cyberpunk and ends up as horror, and this was a recommendation by a buddy of mine, Adam Bassett. So, starving to death in the lowest layer of the megatropolis of New York City, Raid will do whatever it takes to survive. Lie down and die, or run like hell. Intriguing. Next up, we have What Lurks. This is another anthology, and it's a cryptid anthology specifically, which we can see by the cryptid on the cover. Cryptids, man, they just get me. Cryptid, noun, cryptid, plural, cryptids, plural. A creature, such as a Sasquatch or a Loch Ness monster, has been claimed to exist, but never proven to exist by scientific means. There's no solid proof they exist, but the audio recordings and video transcripts, the old journal entries, and the first-hand accounts and tales passed down through the generations. The evidence can't be so easily dismissed. Cryptids. Cryptids creep me out, if you can't tell. We then have the Voidwalker collection. This is by Derek Bailey, and Derek Bailey as the author. Looks like this. We've got a cool purple cover here, and this is a series of 8 novellas, I believe. So this is the first one. Welcome to the Manor, where parties with only the finest food and the most interesting of people are held. But is this a place, a paradise, or a trap? Are the people here friends or enemies? Is it even real? Find out if you read The Voidwalker. Next up, we have Letters from Urkhammer. This is by Hunter Chadwick, and it looks like this. I quite like this cover as well. A town that never existed, a box of letters that prove it did, and a chilling truth that refuses to stay buried. That's a good hook. I'm intrigued by that one. Sorry about the camera jerking. I'm leaning on the table. Next up, we have Fear Farm, No Trespassers by S.J. Crandall. It says, within 1 year, reports of several missing people took over the media. The victims all had ventured to parts of the deep wooded countryside, never to return. Rumours posted from local townsfolk of what might have happened to them caught the attention of the public. Some say the undead may have taken them. Others believe that quick changes in weather patterns played part in their disappearances. I personally don't love a haunted house tale, but a haunted farmstead hits different, and I don't know why, but this does sound creepy. Next up, we have Blood Sap by Liddell Rain. We've got a cool, just very simple, blood red cover here with the tree in the back. It says, some trees bleed, others hunger. When 12-year-old Liam carves his initials onto an ancient tree deep in the woods, he awakens something older than the town itself. Something that remembers bargains, and betrayal. As sap seeps red and voices whisper from the branches, a night of terror begins. This is a novella as well, and it sounds fast-paced and creepy. We have another short story collection, I believe. This is Tales from Cemetery by C.J. Daly, and this is the second book in this, or at least it says that on Amazon. I don't know whether I believe it's just another collection of short stories. Whether this is your first trip or your return to town, get ready for 10 blood-fueled nightmares. Read the stories Hudson Valley residents tell around campfires about Cemetery's dark underbelly. Nice. While the police chase serial killers, the streets run rampant with occult, paranormal, and supernatural beings. And while on the surface these stories tell the lore of the town, don't be surprised if you make connections between them. I'm glad I read that second bit. That sounds cool. Coming to the end here, we have Awake in the Night by Shauna McElhinney. It says, Jessica and Nicole think they've finally found their dream house by the sea in the west of Ireland. Oh, sea house. Maybe I don't hate haunted houses. Anyway, 17 at Montpelier Street has history, character, and so many rooms you could easily lose your way if you don't tread carefully. But it has memories too, so many memories. The new owners haven't learnt them yet, but the girls who lived there decades before when the church used Montpelier Street to hide away its secrets, they're never forgotten. The ones who survived anyway. It's a lot of good sounding books here. I'm never going to have to ask for horror recommendations again. I've got a lifetime worth of books here. Next up, we have The Rule of Extinction by Jeff Jones. Now, I believe this is already a finished series, and they all got released either last year or this year, but I've heard of this one before. It says, civilization-ending comet is headed for Earth. 2 days before impact, thousands of mysterious pods land in a swath across North America. When people touch them, the pods open. Anyone who climbs inside is carried away. No one knows where the pods came from, and no one knows where they go, but finding one is David Williams' only chance to save his family from the end of the world, and escaping Earth is just the beginning. I think this is monster horror. If I'm remembering that correctly, I'm in. And to finish us off, we have another short story collection. This is Creepy Classic Ghost Stories from Ancient Greece by Juliet Harrison. This is, I believe there's 2 of these books that are currently out. It says, Orestes flees from his mother's angry ghost, and Orpheus longs for his lost wife. Achilles cannot bring himself to bury... I can't pronounce this guy's name. Patroclus? No. Sorry. Everyone who's ever, enjoyed Ancient Greece. And there are some nasty shocks waiting for Odysseus in the underworld. Meanwhile, a young Greek soldier finds himself fighting the same battle again and again and again. This is another short story collection. There's 10 short stories in here, and I think it's quite an interesting take on the stories that we hear about ancient Greece. I think the second one is ancient Rome. Don't quote me on that, but there is 2 of them. So those were just some of the horror books that were recommended to me. This video is already 27 minutes long. A couple of weeks ago when I asked the question, there are more out there. There is a website that you can go to. I can't remember what it is. I think it's Dark Veil Press, but I'll find it and I'll have that link down below as well. If you're interested in indie or small press horror, they have them on that website. Are there any of these that you're going to pick up? Because spooky season is here and you have a smorgasbord of books that you can go ahead and check out. Let me know what you're picking up in the comments down below. If you like the content, give one of those. If you want to see more of it, fuck that up. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.